Joy Reid is still employed at NBC apparently, but neither she nor the network are feeling much joy. Instead of apologizing for her blog posts, which are pretty embarrassing, she's pushing the ludicrous claim that she was hacked by unknown saboteurs. We couldn't even find anyone to defend Joy Reid, and we tried, trust me, because absolutely nobody believes her. The question is, where does NBC go from here? Larry O'Connor is a radio host and opinion editor at the Washington Times and a very astute observer of the media scene. So this is, look, I don't want to pile on Joy Reid. As I said last night, I kind of feel bad, actually, for Joy Reid.
And it's not really about Joy Reid anymore. It's about NBC News.
It's about NBC News. So they signed on to yet another lie. There's a litany of them they've been telling over there. How long before their shareholders or Comcast say, who's running this place?
Yeah, in any other business, you'd think that that's exactly what would happen. The CEO picks up the phone and says, guys, I got all these other divisions.
Right,
they got their act together. What's wrong with you? And there is a litany of issues over there now, from defending Mark Halperin when he had his issues, to Matt Lauer when he had his issues, and now Tom Brokaw is in the news. We don't know where that's going to go. But Joy Reid is a very interesting case, because a week ago, the only problem was that she had some, homophobic or at least homophobic adjacent comments on an old blog of hers. She could have easily said, like she did months ago, apologized. I had some weird views before. I've evolved. Everything's fine. Now they have a journalist who hosts a television show about news and politics who appears to be a liar. That's a major problem for a journalistic
endeavor. Is she going
endeavor.
back on the air tomorrow? She's on the weekend.
They have not made an announcement. I actually checked right before we came on because it is Friday and they can make an announcement. Tucker, in the last 48 hours, Huffington Post, The Atlantic, Daily Beast, and The Nation, all those crazy far-right entities, they've all disavowed this hacking claim.
So what are the other anchors? I worked on that channel, and I know a lot of them I like a lot. I like Rachel Maddow, for example. Hate to admit it, but I do.
No,
she's
a
nice
great
person,
show.
actually.
I disagree with her, but it's a quality product.
But she's a pretty straightforward person.
Yes.
Has she come out to say anything about this?
Silence over there.
Okay, so there's been no support from the other anchors, but the network executives are supporting.
There's no, what the network executives did is very interesting. So Joy Reid had her own internet cybersecurity consultant put together a dossier, if you will, and NBC News circulated it quietly, though. They didn't put their Peacock brand on it. They didn't do a big public announcement, but they sent it out to a lot of different media critics and media observers so that it could just sort of get into the news and they could say, well, this is what this cybersecurity expert said. The problem is this cybersecurity expert is starting to look like the Inspector Clouseau of the internet.
I've noticed.
It's like that every single claim that he has made, he hasn't been able to back up with any proof.
Well, so here's the problem for NBC. Because they traffic in the poison that is identity politics, which is a cul-de-sac and will destroy the country, they're now coming under attack from within. People are saying, well, wait, if you're going to fire Joy Reid as a host of color, you've got to fire Tom Brokaw.
Right. Or Brian Williams. Let's not forget Brian Williams. I mean, if we're firing people for lying. Well, here's what's interesting. You're also seeing people line up and say, she's a very important African-American woman with a very important and righteous, woke African-American voice on MSNBC. Therefore, we stand by her. They're not making a judgment whether she lied or not or whether she made those statements. They're just saying we're standing by her because of what she represents.
Because those are secondary considerations.
Let's not forget, this is NBC News, the group that dumped the Access Hollywood tape. A Today Show employee, it appears, is the person who dumped that tape out there. They held it for as long as they could, and then they dumped it right where it would make the most political damage to Donald Trump.
Kind of weird that it went to Noah Oppenheim's friend from college over at the Washington Post. Yeah, he's the head of NBC News.
That's right.
Whatever.
It's a coincidence.
We're
the stars align sometimes.
Larry O'Connor, it's great to see you.
Same here.